Okay.
I liked it.
Great. Right now we want to toss it over to Dave.
All right, thanks, guys. An important topic to talk about today. In Utah, a lot of people are they're succumbing to addiction and substance abuse, and there's a great program at Renaissance Ranch Outpatient, and they are really taking care of some people and doing some great work. We're here with Lindsay Titus, and Lindsay, thanks for being here today.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a big problem, particularly in the state of Utah. Why do you suppose that is?
It is. It's a tough problem, and I think addiction is rampant. I think it is everywhere. It is no... sorry.
No, that's okay. It is one of those things that people do have to tackle, and
yes.
it also it's something that catches up with you sooner or later. And
yes.
a lot of people get away with it for years and years. But when they do find that they actually have got to take a step forward
yeah.
and making a choice to get better and to get into recovery, that's
yeah.
where Renaissance Ranch Outpatient can really help.
Absolutely, we have a great program. We have a men's only and a women's only program, and I'm really here to represent our women's only program. Because we offer such a great program where women can come together and get empowered and, you know, share stories and experiences and get vulnerable and start the healing process.
Why do you think it's necessary to have it segregated as an outpatient service for men and one for women? That's pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so important, and I think there's pros and cons to both. I think there's pros and cons to a co-ed facility as well as gender-specific facilities. But what I've seen in a women's only program is the women just get so much more honest, and they get so much more vulnerable, and they deal with trauma-specific related issues, because a lot of addicts suffer with different mental illnesses, different traumas, and just specific issues to women. And so they're able to really talk about those and process them. Okay,
now a lot of folks get confused about outpatient services. It's different, of course, than being in an inpatient service. How does it differ as far as being in an outpatient?
In outpatient, they really get the hands-on work. So people, they have a recovery coach, they have a counselor, they have this wraparound continuum of care, people that are willing to help and guide them through the whole process. They're at home, so they're dealing with real-life issues. They're being moms, they're being dads, they've got friends, they've got jobs, they're going through hiring and firing processes and all these different things. And what we can do at an outpatient program is really guide them through daily living and give them those tools.
And while they are doing that and getting their outpatient treatment, they can go on, as you say, with their lives. They can go ahead and still work on their jobs and still get the help they need at the same time. Now, a lot of people also worry about the stigma in getting treatment with outpatient or inpatient services. Yeah. What about that stigma? Why should people really not worry about that so much?
You know, that's a tough question. So stigma is there's such a stigma attached to addiction and to mental illness in general. But I think the stigma definitely interferes with people seeking treatment, because I'm in recovery myself too, and I feel like we think that it's such a bad thing. You know, when we think of a drug addict, we think of someone living underneath a bridge, or an alcoholic as a person with a paper bag on the side of the street, and the people begging for money, but that's just not the case. You know, it's our neighbor, it's our teacher, it's the person sitting, behind us in the pew at church. It's our, relative. It's a family member. And I dare say each and every one of us truly knows somebody that's affected by addiction, whether it's the addict themselves or a family member of an addict.
Okay, now how can folks, if they choose to make that step, and they do call Renaissance Ranch Outpatient, what would you say to them? Because there's probably some folks at home that are dealing with this, or at least know somebody who is.
Yeah, I would say reach out. Reach out. There is help. There is hope. Recovery is amazing, and it's powerful, and our lives can be changed and blessed, and they can become so much more than they are without it. And so please reach out, pick up the phone, call us. You will be guided through the steps necessary to, to acquire funding, to get the support you need with your family members, and to ultimately, make that first step towards recovery. Okay, well, Lindsay Titus with Renaissance Ranch Outpatient, thank you so much for being here. Yes. If you do know somebody, please call Renaissance Ranch and get some more information and see if you can't make that first step. Very important. Thank you. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Stick around, folks. A lot more coming up on The Place.